Number 11. Improved Chow system. I love the Chow. I hate how the Chow Gardens work in SA1. This is something I again have to give to SA2, in that the Chow mechanics in that game are almost perfect. So this is what I'd like to see. First, an animal release pod. Normally when you enter the Chow Garden in SA1, the animals you've collected from badniks are instantly released, even if you don't want them to be. That's where this pod comes in, as standing on it would be how you release them in the garden to use. Or all the animals you save are sent off and put in what I can only describe as Pokemon boxes. You can then either bring a Chow to the machine in the garden to use the animals, so they no longer roam the garden at all, or stick a Chow into the machine so that every time you save an animal in a level, your Chow instantly gets a stat boost without you needing to go back every time your butt pocket is full of baby animals. I feel sorry for those little things. Second, making the Chow race's entrance the Chow Kindergarten instead. Putting the Black Market inside a cave in the Mystic Ruins Chow Garden, and making that odd building in the Egg Carrier Garden the Chow Games Arena for things like the races. Speaking of the races, no more random boosting. In the actual game, during races, any of the Chow could at any moment start to sparkle. Yes, they're Twilight vampires. Pressing the right button during this would cause them to boost forward. The annoying thing I found about this was that the camera would jump to them, then stay there until either another Chow got a boost or you yourself switched it, meaning you would spend most of the race looking at every Chow but yours. This should be replaced with the boost system in SA2, where your Chow's stamina can be used to give them a quick boost, but would make them slower if it dropped to 0 before the end of the race. Number 12. New Chow minigames. I'm going to keep this one a bit short, considering that the rest of this list is actually going to be quite long. Yeah, I know I said that I would try to mix things up, but it just kind of came out this way. So yeah, new Chow minigames. First, bring back Chow Karate. Second, add Chow Football, which would be more penalty shootouts. And finally, Chow UFO, where your Chow rides a little UFO and shoots little energy balls at all the other Chow. Tell me you would not like to see that. Even if you love a Chow. Come on, floating in a little UFO. So cute. Now we come to the big ones. The big ones. Number 13. Character story split. To me, this is probably the most important one. So I've kind of decided to split this point between here and my final points. Just saying. One of the biggest complaints, if not the biggest complaint people have with the game, is that you need to play all 6 stories in order to unlock Supersonics and essentially get the true ending. Even though Amy, Big and Gamma have nothing to do with the main plot, which makes the reason why Tikal takes them into the past very confusing. My idea to fix this is to split 6 into 2 groups of 3. Sonic, Tails and Knuckles would be the Chaos story, and beating their stories would unlock Supers, allowing you to see the true ending of the game without having to play all the other stuff. You get to keep on focus with Chaos's story. Amy, Big and Gamma would be optional and just there to explore more of what these 3 were doing during the events of the game, with Tikal's past segments removed. How this would affect the story is what I'll get into later, but yeah, just imagine that. Amy, Big and Gamma just being optional. If you want to play as them, they're still there, but if you just want to get through the main story, you no longer have to go through the plot. Number 14. New Game Plus. Now by New Game Plus, I mean simply allowing us to replay the story on the same save file, similar to how SA2 or Heroes did it. On top of this, I'd like to see different ways of playing through the story with the introduction of Classic and Timeline mode. Timeline would appear after beating all stories and would allow you to play through the game in its chronological order. So if you don't mind playing as all 6 characters, then you can see all the events as they play out. Before starting, you can select your preferred list. So for example, if you put Tails before Sonic, then when it comes time to play Windy Valley, it'll be Tails' version, as you said you prefer to play as him over Sonic. Classic mode is unlocked after beating all stories and getting all abilities. Yes, that includes all of Big's laws. This mode removes the adventure fields and abridges the plot, making the cutscenes only a few seconds long and possibly poking some fun at the actual story. Other than that, you're just picking a character and going from level to level. Number 15. Gameplay changes. By gameplay changes, I'm actually focusing on 2 points in the game where, even if you like the game, you'll get sick of going through them. I am of course talking about Chaos 4 and Sky Chase. Let's get Chaos 4 out of the way first. In the actual game, you have to fight him in Sonic, Tails and Knuckles' stories with no changes to the strategy, making it a very dull boss fight. My idea to fix this is to still have all 3 fight him, but have each character contribute to how he's beaten. So all 3 are seen in the battle no matter who you're playing as. Now I admit the following is going to seem a bit silly, but then again it's a Sonic game. Even when it's trying to be serious, it can still be pretty silly. Tails is standing on one of the few platforms that are above the pool Chaos is in. He flies between, avoiding Chaos's attacks and popping balloons which have mines attached to them. Told you. The mines will explode after some time, so you need to act fast. Popping one drops the mine into the pool and causes Chaos to surface. The others take it from here, so this would count as a hit. Knuckles must keep Chaos' attention by causing small ripples in the water by jumping onto different lily pads. After enough time has passed, Tails drops the mine and Chaos surfaces. Knuckles must then take this chance to hit him enough to send him onto the path surrounding the pool. This is where Sonic comes in, so this would count as a hit for Knuckles. Sonic is running around the pool similar to the boss fights in Sonic Rush. Chaos will occasionally attack him, but until he's beached, Sonic must stop Eggman from launching small missiles from his Egg-O-Matic, which would blow up the mines Tails needs. Hitting him enough would knock him out for a while. When Chaos is beached by Knuckles, Sonic must run to where he is and hit him. This would cause Chaos to explode, as he does, and reform in the water for the next round. Given all this, I do think Chaos's health should be 4 hits, so the battle doesn't start to overstay its welcome. Granted, yeah, I know that did sound pretty ridiculous, but you have to face it, it's a lot better than as it is in the main game, and it still allows everyone to take part. Sky Chase is a pretty simple fix compared to that. Again, in the actual game, right after Chaos 4, both Sonic and Tails need to do Act 1 of Sky Chase and then Act 2 after a few more levels. But again, there is no difference in the two stories. So the fix is easy enough. Have only Sonic play through Act 1, since they are riding his plane in that act, while Tails has Act 2, for the same reason. Also, back in the game's production, the egg carrier had a dragon form, which was a mini-boss. I don't think it should be re-added, but in a similar idea, a giant dragon Badnik is protecting the egg carrier throughout Act 1. And you take it down at the end. Just when Sonic and Tails are celebrating, that's when Eggman shoots him out of the sky. Makes more sense than just randomly shooting at it and then flying away, proclaiming, "We did it!" That never made sense to me. Did what? And finally, point 16, story fixes. Given everything I've talked about, of course the story needs a few fixes. Sonic, Tails and Knuckles must all go into the past in extra time to see the parts that Amy, Big and Gamma normally would. Sonic and Tails can go through just after Casino Polis, since they're both knocked out at this point, so could both think that they're dreaming. Knuckles could be sent back after Red Mountain, so with the exception of Speed Highway, Knuckles would be sent back after every level. To fill in the gap as to what the other three did if they didn't go into the past, Amy would smash open the grate in Eggman's pool and climb out, before an extra grate would shut it again. Big would simply feel the ship shake, be surprised it's not his belly, and decide to escape. Gamma, on the other hand, is a little more difficult. As in his story, he goes back after catching Froggy, and then reappears on the egg carrier, ready to present Froggy to Eggman, which makes how Big followed him to the egg carrier in his story very confusing. If he doesn't go back, then he could just head back to Eggman's base in the jungle, with Big following him, but also having Knuckles do the same. In Knuckles' story, he wonders where Eggman's ship is, only for Gamma to suddenly land in front of him and head to the jungle. It's never explained why Gamma landed there on Angel Island, and if you think about the timeline, This is the point in which Gamma should be in the past. So why not move the part where Knuckles says this to the tunnel entrance of Angel Island? Knux could then see Gamma go from the station toward the jungle and decide to follow him. An extra cutscene would play to replace Sky Chase Act 1 in Tails' story, showing what happened, and of course the same thing would happen in Sonic's story for Act 2. Another cutscene could be added to the start of Sonic's story, where we actually see Eggman reaching the center of Lost World and getting the idea to release Chaos. Additionally, at the start of Knuckles' story, why can't we see Eggman actually blow up the Master Emerald? It's implied that he was the one who did it, since we see the egg carrier flying towards Angel Island, so why not just blow it up? In Big Story, it should be made clearer that what attacks Froggy is just a small part of Chaos, not Chaos himself, since otherwise it makes no sense that he would attack Froggy but not pick up the Chaos Emerald that was just lying there. And with that, that's everything I think could be addressed in Essay 1. If there is something I've missed, be sure to leave it in the comments below, as I'd honestly love to read what other people think could be improved. And don't just say, oh, I think the whole game needs to be improved from the ground up, or just say play a better game. Please be serious. Also, if you did enjoy this and would like to see more, please honestly do like, subscribe, and just help spread the word. I would like to make more of these, but I need the certainty that people are interested, as it helps motivate me. I kind of struggle in that field. It's taken me a long time just to get this video out. So, yeah. If I were to make a second episode, then I would want to take on my other favourite Dreamcast game. So, hopefully see you again. Oh yeah? Really? And to all the people who believe that, I have just 2 words for you. Mad space. Enjoy your superb. Oh my god. What the fuck am I saying? If it were to be added, then it would have to be something that needed to be charged up. Either with time, with Sonic, you begin in the Windy Hill. then get pulled into the tornado before ending the level in the air. Each of these are separated by an admittedly so think her boost mechanic in Sonic R. Yes, I just said that Sonic R had something that Sonic Adventure didn't. Put down those pitchforks. Each of these are separated. With the adventure games, Sega had a habit of each of these are separated by damn it all. For those unaware, this boss takes place in an area which can only redo. For those unaware, this boss takes place in an area where the only... The script makes no sense here. He said, where the only. So I was getting muddled up. I don't check my scripts that much. Each of these are separated by admitting. Why can't I say it now? Take 3. Each of these are separated by a admitting. There are more outtakes in this one word than anything else. Yes, I do have a ridiculous amount of Sonic stuff. All up here, all along here, all this, some more games in there. Some more bits and bobs in there. And yet the silliest thing I have is right above me. I have Sonic taped to my ceiling. Well, this is what I thought would be the others take it from here, so this would count as a hit for Chaos. Can you do that? This is where Chaos... Every final line. Admittingly. Why can't I say that? Admittingly. I'm not even sure if that's a word actually. Admittingly. Admittingly. Why can't I say that? Admittingly. Gonna rework it. Screw it. Gonna rework it. Granted, each of these are separated by a short loading screen.